Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, guys. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys um, haven't had any issues recently. So, it's just a sad story or incident of what happened in New Zealand. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just give the families justice and deal with the culprits as they deserve. It's a sad thing that's happened, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya, He's designed this dunya in such a way that there will be evil people on this earth, and evil people are going to do evil things, whether they call themselves Muslims or non-Muslims or whatever. People just have this evil inside of them that they want to harm other people, and this is why these kind of things, I think, make us realize the importance of Islam, the importance of holding fast to the values and teachings of Islam. Because when a person has no values, he makes his own values, he invents his own values, and then those invented values lead to these kind of problems. So alhamdulillah, Allah has given us the blessing of Islam, and this is something I cherish every single day, and I ask Allah to keep on the path of Islam and keep me steadfast. But anyway, so what do you guys feel about what's happened? I mean, I just feel disgusted about these kind of things. And then that guy is coming out with some rubbish, the senator, saying these stupid things. Yeah, I can't even believe that people like that in the government would say these kind of things. Yeah, that's what just puts the cherry on top. These kind of idiots that are in power. But I mean, these kind of things make a person realize about how Allah tested the Prophet ﷺ, how the Muslims in the early years were tested, the kind of Islamophobic society that was there at that time. Imagine, now we have this idea of people around the world condemning these kind of things. But in them days, who would condemn it? Besides the Muslims, who else was there that would really condemn it? And it was, so many years of struggle. The Prophet ﷺ went through hardships. People were murdered, killed. I mean, if they had automatic guns in them days, I guarantee you some crazy mushrik in Quraysh in Makkah would have opened fire on Muslims and killed them. These things are just crazy people, man. Yeah, Ameen. Dua from definitely Abdul Samad. Definitely, we need to make dua, and we need to take lessons from this kind of thing. That we need to become more of a stronger ummah. We need to come together, work together, be Muslims who are supporting one another as well. End of the day, all the Muslims around the world are brothers and sisters, and we need to stop having this selfish mentality of it's only my culture, it's only my community. It's about everyone else as well. All the Muslims around the world, deserve a voice. Every Muslim deserves our concern. We should be living our lives, with this consciousness, awareness that the whole world is. Wa alaikum assalam, Farooq. The whole world is the ummah. Yeah, and if we ignore the ummah and we just take care of ourselves, it's just like an illness. If your body's got an illness and you don't take care of that illness, it just spreads. And one day it will hit you, and when it hits you, it might be too late. You can't really make any amends, you can't fix anything, repair anything. So this is why the lessons that the Quran gives us, the lessons from the life of the Prophet ﷺ, are things we need to, from now, we need to bring into our lives, I think. And, unity is the biggest thing that we need to have. Muslims unifying, coming together, not becoming happy at other people's losses. If our leaders are not perfect, it doesn't matter. No one's perfect. Ameen. Jazakallah khair, Sister Aisha. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. But the same is for our leaders. They're not perfect. But we need to, lobby to our leaders. We need to have connection with our leaders. We need to speak to our leaders, tell them our problems, make them concerned about our issues as well. And that way, so we can do things. Otherwise, we can't do things at an individual level. And on a side note, the problems that we have in our communities, the things that we can change, we need to step up and start, making change in those. I think these are things, small little things in our own communities. Things like, basic things like carjacking we've got in our communities, stabbings in our communities, drug dealing in our communities. We probably know people who are involved in these things, and for us to turn a blind eye, for us to buy car parts that are stolen, we know they're stolen. We're getting them for half the price or discount price because we know they're stolen. They've been stolen from someone. It's not fair, it's not right that we're doing this or dealing with drug dealers or people who have haram, source of income. These kind of things, we have to have our values of Islam inside of us. At the end of the day, Islam has to manifest inside of our lives. And if we don't, if we just live our lives thinking, I'll buy my house, I'll buy my car, I'll have a family, I'll live happily ever after, that's just a made up thing. That is, yeah, Muslims are not like that. Islam is, I have a house, my brother has a house, my sister has a house. I have a car, my brother has a car, sister has a car. I am fed, my brother and sister around the world are fed. This is how we need to think. Then it's happily ever after in the hereafter. Yeah, happily ever hereafter. Yeah, it's always happily ever hereafter. It's not happily ever dunya. Dunya is not going to be a happy place. You are going to get crazy people that do these shootings out there. These sick people. I don't even call them sick because sick makes you feel sorry for them. They're not sick. Yeah, these people are just disgusting people, evil people. And may Allah protect us from any other sick or evil person in the world out there as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I was really upset about what happened. I'm sure a lot of you guys are really annoyed and angry about what's happened, but we have to control our anger. We've got to, be able to use all our energy and everything for the benefit of mankind. We have to do it. And part of the benefit of mankind is stopping idiots and foolish people doing stupid things in the community. Whether it's our own Muslim brothers and sisters and whether it's non-Muslims, we have to, follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and call towards good and stop people from doing wrong. But we've got to do it in the right way as well. That's the thing. We can't just take arms and start doing crazy things on the street ourselves, fight fire with fire. We've got to do it in the right way. That's the whole point of following the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, anyway, questions now. So Salman, can you explain the concept of Qada and Qadar and how it applies to the situation and the events? For example, if they were not present at the time. Okay, this is a good question. So Qada and Qadar basically work like this. The divine decree, basically, for those who don't know what these two words mean. Divine decree basically means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's designed the entire universe. Right? He's designed all the planets, He's designed all the atoms and all the molecules. He's measured them precisely, exactly how many molecules are going to be needed and how many atoms and how many are going to change and how many creatures are going to exist and how many animals and how many drops of water there's going to be, and every single thing has been planned. Every single thing has been measured. This is what we call the qadr of Allah, the taqdeer of Allah. And then what happens basically is that we are within the qadr. In other words, Allah has created us and all the possible movements that we can make, all the possible thoughts that we can make, all the possible things we can see, all the possible things we can hear, right? Billions and millions or whatever, how many ever there are. They're all in divine decree. Allah knows exactly how many morsels of food you're going to eat. Allah knows exactly how many breaths you're going to take, how many sins you're going to commit, how many good you're going to do. It's all kind of it's part of the qadr. Because Allah is beyond time and space, remember that. So He's beyond past, present and future. So if you've understood that, then understand the next thing, which is when we say free will, what we mean by free will is that Allah, He gives us a relatively free will. So our free will is relative compared to other things. Compared to a tree, compared to a dog, compared to other animals, we have more free will. In other words, Allah has given us abilities in our body to be able to do things more than anything else. And we have this ability of consciousness. We can consciously understand our own existence, that we exist. And so we are become responsible for our actions as well. It's like, in your dream, you're in that dream and then lucid dreaming. You kind of know what's happening around you. All of a sudden are in control. So you can imagine that as a type of free will. So when incidents like these occur, Allah knows everything, obviously. So divine decree is not on the side of Allah, it's on our side. So everything that happens in the whole world and the people they do it by their choice. So for us, it's something new that's happened. But at the end of the day, it's something which Allah knew that was going to happen. Allah knew there was going to be this guy. And this guy's going to be making plans, and this guy's going to be making these choices, and this guy's going to communicate with people, and he's going to get inspired by other evil people, and then he's going to buy weapons, and he's going to make this plan, and he's going to start recording it, and he's going to start shooting people. This is something in the ilm of Allah Ta'ala. Allah is divine, Allah is infinite, omnipresent. So this is the how you have to understand. So qada means how that divine decree, now when the time comes, so for example like on Friday exactly this time, that divine decree in the knowledge of Allah, that was going to occur now. Yeah, just like in your phone, when you have things in your calendar, you planned it all out, and when that day comes, your phone just tells you, right, today this is occurring. So these things just manifest on earth. Everything just manifests from the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are basically how the qada and the qadr work. Yeah, it's relative free will, like we say. Okay, so does that make sense? And then this is how the Prophet ﷺ understood it as well. The Prophet ﷺ, he understood from the promise of Allah that Islam will spread. He knew it. He told the Sahaba this as well. However, that didn't mean that he just sat back. He made effort as well. So the divine decree occurring is something which is part and parcel of you making effort as well. You have to make effort. Yeah, Allah will give you rizq, but obviously you have to make effort for this rizq. Yeah. So this is how it works. So you can't just kind of guess divine decree. You can't just say to yourself, I'm going to become a millionaire anyway. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to become a millionaire. It's not going to work like that. You are going to become a millionaire if there are things in place for you to become a millionaire. Yeah, so you have to make an effort. So this is why when someone came to Ali radiallahu anhu and said to him, what is divine decree? And Ali radiallahu anhu said, stand on one leg. So he stood on one leg, lifted the other leg up. Then Ali radiallahu anhu lift the other leg. He goes, I can't. He goes, that's divine decree. You are limited by the things that are your surroundings. Yeah, so we are limited by our surroundings, but within our surroundings, we've got to try our best. And the best thing is, I remember one of the scholars, he said something good. He said, divine decree should be understood like this. He said, do not think about divine decree until something happens, right? And then you look back at it retrospectively. That's how you look at it. So if a calamity occurs, you say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. So you don't say Inna lillah before something's going to happen. You get on with it, you try your best, you work hard, you try to get the qualifications, you try to get the job, you try to get a family, right? So you try your best. So Allah wants us to try our bests. But when we realize it doesn't work out for us, we need to fall under a decree and say to ourselves, this wasn't what Allah wanted. I said inshallah, but Allah didn't He didn't will it for it. And we get on with our lives. Yeah, so any problem we have in our lives, this is the kind of, you can say, safety net, the taqdeer, the idea of taqdeer. Otherwise, we don't really need to know that taqdeer exists. Yeah, it's not something which is beneficial for us in other ways. Yeah, looking at it, in real time. Yeah, divine decree isn't something. Can we apply the verse of Surah Inshiqaq to the situation? Which verse is that? I'm not a hafiz, so tell me which verse. Yeah, so that's that. Any other questions, guys? Anything else? So, alhamdulillah, I got a car, guys, yeah? So, mashallah, last weekend, I managed to, my brother, alhamdulillah, I found a car. And alhamdulillah, I got a car. So, it's an automatic. And so, now I'm an automatic guy now. Right? So I used to be a manual guy before. Now I'm automatic. Automatic is much more comfortable now. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. You can see the difference when you're driving. You don't have to keep changing the gear stick and your feet are more relaxed. So if you guys, anyone got an automatic? Anyone of you guys drive automatic? If you do, what do you guys think? They say that once a person drives automatic, he doesn't go back. Yeah, is that true? Do you guys accept that as well? And also, so what do you guys Jazakallah khair, Google user. Jazakumullah khair, Jazakumullah khair. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Car in this society, I think it's essential. We need cars. It's difficult to live without a car. It's many of us, not everyone. Many of us, very difficult to live without a car. So alhamdulillah. Anyway, I think I've got a talk tomorrow. Well, I think we've got a talk tomorrow in Manchester. Well, not a talk. It's a judging Quran recitation. So inshallah, that's going to be in Manchester. So I think if anyone's around there, come meet up inshallah. It's going to be, I don't know, Hyde. Is there a place called Hyde? Near Manchester, Greater Manchester. Somewhere around there, if you guys know. Besides that, alhamdulillah, I've been making videos. Hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. And the video I made on the Arabic one as well, the Arabic history of Arabic. So that was part one that I made, but there's also some other parts as well. that I'm going to be making as well, inshallah. Yeah, so hopefully there's 3 parts to that. So there's part 1, part 2, and part 3, hopefully. Okay. Oh, sorry, Surah Buruj. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, see, Surah Buruj mentions about the Muslims who were tortured and killed, yeah, by the evil government at that time, ruler at that time. And it's a very good example, yeah, definitely. These are things that are going to happen. You know, if we think that just because I believe in God, Allah, and my Tawheed and my Aqidah is correct, and, you know, I pray my Salat, that no bad things are going to happen. No, they are going to happen. Things are going to happen irrespective of whether we are Muslim or non-Muslim. Bad things will happen. That's the way the earth has been designed. That's the way human nature has been designed, that they will become jealous, they will become angry, they will become, you know, racially motivated and whatever. That's going to happen. Islam gives us the best way to be able to deal with all this. Islam gives us the best solution to be able to apply in our lives how we're supposed to, you know, behave towards ourselves, towards other people, towards God as well. Yeah, so once we understand that mindset, once we have this mindset that, you know what, Islam is a solution for our problems, but it doesn't mean by me practicing Islam I am going to be free of hardships. Yeah, it doesn't mean that. You're actually going to get more hardships, because now you're restricting yourselves with the laws of Allah. So that naturally means that by you restricting yourself to the laws of Allah, it means you're going to face more difficulties and problems. Okay, okay, about the who killed the believers. Okay, next, Yasin. In situation like that, the one day in New Zealand, how do we classify places like that as Dar al-Kufr or Dar al-Harb or Ahad? So, I mean, this concept of Dar al-Kufr and Dar al-Harb, this is like a big fiqh kind of debate that scholars have, that they divided the countries or the areas on earth in 2 parts. Those which are governed by Muslims and those non-governed by Muslims. So any place that's governed by a Muslim and the laws of Islam are implemented, meaning the penal laws, then you call them Dar Islam, and any place which is not governed by the penal law, Islamic penal code, is called Dar al-Kufr, basically. That's how many of the scholars have mentioned it. However, other scholars have said no. So this definition was based upon the early way that society was framed. So the way society was framed and structured, that's the understanding of them days. And nowadays we have a total different way of looking at society. Countries, borders, nationalities, citizenship. These are kind of new concepts, right? So I mean, personally, I feel this idea of Dar al-Harb and Dar al-Islam is an outdated thing, is an old thing, I think. And now we have other sort of definitions, just like definition scholars over the years bring definitions. There's places like Dar al-Ahad, Dar al-Salam, they call them Dar al-Salam. And so these kind of places, so it's all about basically how safe, how much safety is there. I mean, this kind of thing could happen in a Muslim country. You get this sometimes. You remember in Saudi, there was someone that tried to take over the Masjid al-Haram, kill people. You know, you get, unfortunately, in Muslim countries where people will do stupid things. So safety is not something which will always exist. We try to aim to attain safety. And, you know, wherever we live, we try to live like that. But there are going to be certain places on earth which are going to be more safe than others. And there are going to be places that are going to be more dangerous than others. So it's all about us trying to, you know, uphold the laws in the community as well. By doing the things that Islam tells us. By, you know, propagating good and forbidding evil. And by, you know, supporting our communities. Yeah, so these are the kind of things we have to kind of push towards. Yeah, you know, nowadays, the way that the society, I mean, if you think about this, when we look at history, Islamic history, we will find, you know, atrocities occurring in Islamic history. Even when there were Muslim rulers in Muslim lands, there were like atrocities. If you look in Spain, Muslims were fighting Muslims. You know, you look in North Africa, if you looked in Baghdad and other places, you know, against faction groups, you had, unfortunately, people had this idea of killing each other. Yeah, and sometimes they would justify it with on beliefs that they had, or, you know, fiqh rulings, you can say. So we've got to be more united nowadays. And the Prophet ﷺ did tell us that a day is going to come when the whole world will be, you know, shredding the Muslims like a piece of bread. So these are things that are going to happen, but it doesn't mean that we lose hope. We have to have hope. We've got to, at whatever capacity we have, we've got to do good in our communities. If you're a teacher, carry on teaching. If you're a student, carry on studying. If you're working for a business, carry on your business. You know, be upright in your business. If you're driving a taxi, be a good taxi driver. If you're a doctor, be a good, physician. If you're, in the government, working in the government, do your best you can for the public. Carry on doing, don't stop. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he did tell us, he said that the person who says that society is destroyed has destroyed them. Yeah? Man qala halaka an-nas faqad ahlakahum. Whoever says society is destroyed, Muslims are gone, that's it. Islam is finishing. Those kind of mentalities are the mentalities that psychologically, they are the defeated mentalities there. Those are the mentalities that make people lose hope. We can't make people lose hope. We're in a time, we support each other, we support our brothers, yeah, we support our sisters. Whether our brothers and sisters practice or they don't practice, we can't judge them in these times. Let Allah judge them. What we have to do is support one another, help one another, try to get rid of poverty in our community, try to get rid of knife crimes, gun crimes, try to get rid of drugs in our community, try to bring up our children with good moral values, Islamic values. Yeah, these are the kind of things I think we need to push towards. What do you guys think? What do you guys think should be done? Yeah, in a more practical way, in a pragmatic way. What do we have to do in our communities? We can't stop terrorism around the world. That's something we can't do. Yeah, it's like a disease. It just exists. It pops up here and there. But obviously, we need to have some ideas in our communities of how we can start. And what I would suggest is we can't start the blaming game. We can't say, oh, let's blame it on the imams of the mosques, or let's blame it on the committees of the mosque, or let's blame it on the ulama, the maulanas, or let's blame it on activists, or let's blame it on charity groups, they should be doing more, or let's blame it on this Muslim group or that Muslim group. Or we can't really there's no point blaming people. Let's try to do something. So try to sort out the blaming side as well. At the same time, try to do as best as you can for your community. The Islamic position, yeah, it's fine. Islamically, I mean, the Sahaba used to carry swords. Yeah, carrying swords, carrying these kind of things in the Sahaba's days was actually considered to be, something that was a norm in them days. So yeah, carrying a sword, carrying, weapons was a norm. But they wouldn't always carry them. Yeah, obviously, they wouldn't always have them. But if a person feels and is living in a place where they are allowed to carry guns, then, it's Islamically, there wouldn't be any issue with it. We need to create inside of people responsibility. Whenever we give them a gun, and you're living in a community that guns are allowed, you need to, I think, create inside the mindset of responsibility of having a gun. Yeah, these are very important things, these are. Because, a lot of times what happens is you might give someone a gun, but they don't really, mentally, they're not really there. And they might just become trigger happy and start using it the wrong way. So, I think that's a very important. And we need to get people together. I think I don't have the solutions. Yeah, solutions are with us. It's in our hands, all of us. Yeah, we need to get people who are thinkers of different areas, different mindsets, different capacities, get them together, and we need to come up with solutions for our community. And we're not always going to agree on things. That's the thing we have to remember. Don't always wait for agreement on everything. Right? Agreement is not always going to come. We try to work on the things that are that we prioritize. What are the most important, pressing things in our community today? That's what we need to work on. Okay, how to maintain relation. How to maintain relation with, brother? With who, brother? Ahmed. You're welcome, Yasin. You're welcome. So anyway, I've got some more videos planned, inshallah ta'ala. I'm planning to do one on more on the balagh of the Quran. So I'm going to try to focus a lot on showing people how the Quran is a miracle. In other words, in its linguistic miracle. That's why I think a lot of people, they want to know about, for example, someone might want to know, what's the point of me learning Arabic? So someone might say, well, I want to understand the Quran. But can't you understand the Quran? Can't you understand the Quran through translation? So the thing is, it's like, okay, let's look at this question. If I know Arabic, right, like basic Arabic, and I know English, and I read the Quran in Arabic, and I read the Quran in English, what can I get in Arabic more than I can get in English? So just think about that. So, I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think? If I know Arabic, so I know Arabic, and I read the Quran, what can I get? How can that make me better with my connection with the Quran? How can that connect me more? How can that make me benefit more from the Quran than me reading the Quran in English? Yeah. Okay, subtleties of human expression in Arabic is deeper, definitely. That's definite. Yeah. I mean, but can't you get that in the English as well? That's the thing. And at what level does your Arabic have to be to appreciate the subtleties? Like, for example, the subtleties that the Sahaba experienced is something many of us in the world, most people in the world, I don't think they experience it. Yeah, because that was their mother tongue. That was like their mother speaking to them. Imagine your mother speaks to you, how when she's happy and she's sad and when she's angry, how it affects you emotionally, right? Straight away, every word of your mother, it kind of like has an emotional sort of effect on your mind and heart. Does the Quran have that on us? And this is how I gauge the Quran. This is how I gauge my understanding of the Quran. That if I hear a verse, if I read a verse, how does that impact me? Does that impact me like if my mother was to say something similar and I understand it straight away in my mother tongue? Does that impact me? So what I want to do basically is I want to make a whole series of how a person can appreciate the Quran and how a person can learn the Arabic language and how much they have to learn. What do they have to learn to achieve this? So the aim is basically, the end point is I want a guy, a brother or a sister to be able to read the Quran and just impact them straight away. Yeah, and it has an effect on them to become better people, to inspire them, right? And I personally believe that can only be done at the highest level through Arabic. But it has to be done, they have to have a very good, like a structured syllabus to be able to reach that level. So at the moment I'm trying to think of, I'm drawing up a kind of way of trying to make this sort of syllabus. Yeah, and inshallah make the videos for that, series of videos to teach people. So it's like, some people will come to me and say, I want to study Nahu, Arabic grammar, to understand the Quran. But then I say to them, why do you want to study, like, do you have like a big picture in your head of how you want to achieve, like, you want to understand the Quran, yeah? That's the end line. And so, how do you want to achieve this? Like, what steps do you have in plan? Is it just in your head, you've heard someone say, learn Arabic grammar and you'll understand the Quran? That's not necessarily true. That doesn't happen. There's many people who know Arabic grammar, but they don't understand the Quran. Yeah, I mean, you probably know many, you might be one of them as well. So you have to have a tailor-made sort of syllabus, I think, in today's times, to be able to get people to understand that. So what do you guys think of that? Do you guys think that that would be something you're interested in? I remember last week I mentioned to you guys about the Bala Group that I want to create. Yeah, a group of people around the world who focus on Balagha of the Quran, and we do projects together, and we try to focus on certain surahs and try to help each other in like refining our understanding of the Balagha points of the Quran. Yeah, so I was thinking of that, and some people, mashallah, got back to me. Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair, guys. Once I get a good number of people, and I kind of in my head I get this idea, plan of how it's going to be done, then inshallah we can start it. Okay, so how to maintain relations with other religions so that there is no problem and we all live happy. I mean, how do we maintain relations with our neighbors? How do we maintain relations with, it's all humans. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, how do you maintain relations with another human being? That's the answer. That's the solution. The problem is when we have any problems with, like, for example, like problems between one country and another country. Let's say there's Pakistan against India, or maybe between some African countries against another African country, or some Western country against, we have problems, people who dislike each other. It's not everyone, but you have these elements in your community. The problem is, what we need to do is remove from our societies the problems, right? And automatically we'll be able to live together. Humans can interact with each other. That's why we're called insan, because the scholars say we kind of feel we feel comfortable with each other. We are a very social animal, not animal, creature rather. We're a social creature, right? So we need to remove. So for example, like the Prophet ﷺ, he gave us advice, give to each other, speak kindly of each other, make dua for each other, yeah, help one another. These are the kind of things. Sometimes give up your own, something that you think you deserve, some of your own rights, give them up for another person. Yeah, and if we try that, just like we do for our own siblings and our family members, we can do it for other communities as well. I don't see any reason for why we should hate another religion at all, unless obviously that there's individuals in that religion who are evil individuals who want to harm people. That's understandable, that is. Then obviously those are the people that we want to call out, like they say, and we want them to be dealt with. But generally a religion, I don't think there's any sane religion out there that would ever condone violence in that way. No. So yeah, so those are the plans, guys. The Balagha ones, and I'm also working on another thing, right? How many of you guys have started Arabic grammar, yeah, and then you've left your Arabic grammar simply because it was just too overwhelming, yeah? And I know there's lots of people out there that have this. They've started Arabic grammar, they learn about the mubtada, they learn about the khabar, they learn about the fi'l and the fa'il and the maf'ul bihi, and then what happens is, after like a month, 2, 3 months, yeah, they just burn out, fizzle away, and they have this kind of disliking for Arabic grammar. It's like Arabic grammar is like whenever a person is in Arabic grammar class, they always kind of have these negative thoughts. The reason for that, I think, the one I worked out is the reason for that. Walaikum assalam, in fact. The reason for that is because, you see, what happens is when you study another language, if you study a language, for instance, like Arabic, and you study grammar, Arabic grammar, average person has 3 problems. Number 1, they don't know grammar, all right? So they got to learn it. Number 2 is that they are applying Arabic grammar to a language which they don't understand at all. So imagine like Japanese. You want to learn Japanese grammar in the Japanese language, yeah, with all the Japanese. Inshallah, Sister Rahila, make dua for us as well. Imagine that. And then the third problem is that when people learn Arabic grammar, the thing that they learn in Arabic grammar is something which they've never been exposed to before. Like your own language, most likely you've learned your own language not through grammar. You've learned it just through speaking and the society and culture. Does that make sense? And that doesn't necessarily make you an expert in your language. It's just that you're more familiar with your language. Abdul Samad, Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I'm a convert and I'm Hispanic, and Alhamdulillah, I just reached 1 year embracing Islam. Allahu Akbar, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you steadfast and strong, and give you more inspiration and make you an inspiration for others as well. Okay, la'natullahi upon those who did that. Allah's curse be upon all the people, evil people in the world. Yeah, anyone who's evil, doing harm, harming anyone, we curse everyone. Yeah, and this is the thing, that mentality that we need to have, which is that we can't just become reactionary. Like when something happens in the world, we all of a sudden want to start. This is no offense to you, intellect, but this is general. This is like when something happens in the world, we all of a sudden, our kind of Islamic kind of values pop up. Why don't we have Islamic values in normal conditions as well, in normal times? Why don't we stand up for the rights of other people? Why don't we speak against the atrocities happening with other communities, against the Jews, or against Mexicans in Mexico, what's happening over there, and against other people? So the thing is, Islam was always taught us to have our values 24/7. 24/7 we should have our values. And because with the advent of social media, every time something pops up on the TV, people go wild on social media. And you can find this trend. You just go back in your timeline and you find out whenever an atrocity happened, see how people reacted. It's just very reactionary. So, I think we need to be more level-headed in these situations. We need to have a protocol, how we solve these problems, how we go about these problems. It's easy to curse people, very easy to do that. What are we doing for our communities? That's the question we need to ask. Like, what am I doing? Today in the Jummah, I even mentioned an example of a story where there was one of the members of Parliament attended. He was a non-Muslim, and he wanted to give some words regarding the incident. So I mentioned the story, and I said there was a guy in the time of Noshirwan. Noshirwan was a king, a Persian king before the time of the Muslims. And Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he basically, what he done was, he used to read Noshirwan's books. He used to like the stories of Noshirwan, because Noshirwan is a very just ruler. So in one of the stories, it's mentioned that there was an old man and he was planting some sapling. And what happened was, the Noshirwan, the king, he went past, and as he went past, he saw him and he said to him, "Old man, what are you doing?" He said, "Stop planting this." Yeah, he goes, "You're dying, go back home." So the old man said, "King," he said, "Look, my forefathers planted and we benefit from the fruit and the shade of the trees. So if I plant and I want my future generations to benefit, what's wrong with that?" In other words, it's like very deep kind of philosophy this guy had. His idea was that, look, you don't just think about yourself, you think about other communities as well. You think about the future generations. You plan ahead. You make, you know. Okay, do you think that it's possible to go over some section of a book like Televisa Beliefs by Imam al-Jawzi, some Tarkib, I'rab, Balagha, etc.? Yeah, I mean, it's possible, Sharif. That's possible. And the thing is, I don't think Talbis Iblis is a very useful book for that. The thing is, Talbis al-Iblis, basically, is a book that was written for a time. Now we need a more updated Talbis Iblis. Like, the way that he wrote it were the illnesses of the problems that he saw in his society in the 500s after Hijrah. Ibn Jawzi. He wrote it for that time. So it was like he wanted to point out to the people the common problems people had. So he wanted to kind of sort that out. But in today's times, we need an updated version of Talbis Iblis. We need to point out like the problems with, let's say, shopkeepers. How shaitan affects shopkeepers. How shaitan affects teachers. How shaitan affects taxi drivers. How shaitan affects people in governments. How shaitan affects the average person taking their child to mosque or to the school or to the shops. How shaitan affects doctors. How shaitan. These are the kind of things, because Talbis Iblis, the whole point of it is to highlight to the public how shaitan affects people. Okay, so yeah, I mean, but Tarkib, I'rab, Balagha, etc. I mean, I think you're right. Yeah, I do have plans to go through some books, inshallah. If you had a khilaf right now, this event wouldn't go far because the thing is, brother intellect. In fact, if we had khilafah, we probably have 2 or 3 khilafahs fighting each other, and that's the sad reality of Islamic history. If you look at Islamic history, it was the Saudis, the early Saudis, that started fighting with the Ottomans, and so many people are killed. It's this idea of once khilafah comes, everything's going to become good. It's never ever been the case. The Prophet ﷺ told us this. He said that the khilafah will last for 30 years, and he goes, after 30 years, it will just be kings fighting each other. And that's what it's been. Kings fighting each other, and Muslim rulers killing one another and plotting against each other for their own benefits and schemes. It's always happened. So the solution is not khilafah. The solution is a strong ummah. We need a strong ummah. That's what we need. And yes, government always plays an important role in that. A just, upright government, it needs to play a role in that. Okay, so sometimes I feel alone in deen, but Allah keeps me stronger. Mostly I've been teaching myself. I just want to know if there's any free. Yeah, brother Abdul Samad, if you go to my YouTube channel, I've got loads of free stuff on there. You can check them all out, inshallah. Okay, satisfied without the Khilafah Sharia, with no justice in the lands. Have you heard of the book Ta'bir al-Quran by... Yeah, Ta'bir al-Quran, I love that book. Yeah, that's an excellent book, that is. Ta'bir al-Quran, yeah, definitely. It's 2 parts, isn't it? It's a 2-part one. Ta'bir al-Qurani. Yeah, I think that is a very good book. Yeah, beautiful book. And that's the whole point of the Balagha kind of group that I want to start. Is we want to take that sort of an approach. That's the kind of way we want to go. So we want to kind of get people to become more skilled in appreciating the subtleties in the Quran, and how certain words are used in some chapters and in 9 other chapters, why certain sentences are jumla fi'liyas, verb-based sentences, some sentences are noun-based sentences, and all of these kind of things. These are the kind of things that we want to try and focus on, inshallah. And I think, yeah, definitely. Are you guys translating it? That would be excellent if you translate it. Yeah, very good. I think, mashallah. So yeah, any other questions, guys? Ya Allah. So jazakumullah khair for you guys being here. Let me know any other type of videos you guys are interested in, because I want to get some ideas of what's best to make, what kind of series is best to make at the moment. So I've got lots of ideas in my head, but I want to know which one would be more useful for the wider community as well. Yeah, so jazakallah khair, Ahmad Razak. And how to maintain excellent memory. Stay away from sins, guys. Stay away from sins. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, stay away from sins. Do good deeds. Yeah, and inshallah, Juma khutbas. No, I don't, David Dawood Birch. Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I do, but not all the time. Alright guys, so jazakumullah khair. Remember me in your du'as, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa